So, I just wanted to make this video real quick to document something. I am very much experiencing sadness right now. I've been guiding myself through exercising the muscle of not identifying with the emotion, but seeing it as a teacher that is, here to show you something and then is going to go on their way once you've sat with that and learned the lesson. But the thing is, we're never taught to do that. We're never taught to be emotionally intelligent. So when these emotions arise, you have to practice, exercise that muscle of, okay, I am not this emotion. I'm not going to say I am sad. I'm going to instead say something like I am experiencing X emotion. I am feeling this, that, or the other. Because you never are those emotions. You're just experiencing them. You're just feeling them temporarily. And they're there to teach you something. They're there, especially when they're very strong emotions, they're there to teach you something, to call attention to something that you maybe have not, that maybe hasn't been in the forefront of your daily life or hasn't been in the forefront of your overall life, either for a long time or something that you, that going forward you need to work on, or something that you are going through now. For me, today, I saw a folklorico performance, and it was mostly kids. There was only one adult performer, but I think she was just an older teen. But anyways, nonetheless, I saw a folklorico performance. It was really good. I liked it. It was cute. The kids were really into it, and you could tell that they enjoyed what they were doing. And I just loved looking at the different, I don't know, I guess, I don't know anything about folklorico, so I guess they're called trajes. The different, outfits, the trajes. And for the different regions and stuff like that, they did a dance in a Michoacan style traje. Then they did another one in Jalisco style, and then they did another one in maybe Chihuahua. I'm not sure. I don't know that much about the different styles of trajes for folklorico, but I did immediately recognize the Michoacan and the Jalisco one. But anyways, that's just me nerding out about fashion. But anyways, I was just sitting there watching the performance, and I was looking at the trajes and stuff like that, and just deconstructing them in my mind and saying, okay, this skirt is doble posición, so it's made out of, this much fabric. It's got to be not 360 degrees, but double that, so that you can raise your arms and stuff like that. Whatever. That's not the point. And I was feeling, in the moment I didn't feel it, but later on when I was by myself and was able to think, I started to feel a lot of sadness, because I realized that as a kid I wanted to dance folklorico so bad, and I wanted to play mariachi music and all kinds of stuff like that. But and I remember, at that specific time in my life, I don't remember how old I was exactly, but I wanted to dance folklorico so bad, and it didn't happen for one reason or the other. I'm sure the main reason wasn't money, but that was probably one of the contributing factors. But my unfortunately, my parents just didn't foster that desire that I had, foster that dream. So I never got to dance folklorico as a child. And then as I watched that performance today, it came back to me that that's something that never healed, that I never healed with my inner child, that because I've never gotten to dance folklorico. I would love to learn now as an adult, but I really would have loved to have been doing it since I was a kid. I would have loved to have started back then. And of course, then I have to, also sit with the fact that had I started back then as a kid when I wanted to, I wouldn't have been able to dance the style that I wanted to. I would have had to dance the men's style, I don't think I was at the age where I had realized any of that. I mean, I've lived my life this way. My two-spirit existence has always been, but I had to go, severely and deeply, traumatically undercover for a very long time and hide those feelings even from myself. So I think this was during that time. But it was it came back to me when I watched that performance today. Then I was, feeling really sad about it. I was experiencing a lot of sadness about it because that's something that I really wanted to do as a child that I never got to do. That dream was never fostered. That want, And another thing was, after I started thinking about the folklorico, I was like, okay, I'm feeling really sad right now. I just want comfort. I made myself a little peanut butter and honey sandwich and allowed myself to enjoy that. And I warmed up some milk and drank that, allowed myself to enjoy that. And, I was just still not feeling well. So I started watching Squid Game, which I think I'm going to do some videos on that, my analysis on that. I'm only on episode 1. I haven't finished it yet. And then, after I finished putting away my clothes because I was doing laundry. I was folding laundry. So I just put Squid Game on to watch while I was folding laundry. But after that was done, I got up and I, got some water and stuff and then put all the clothes away. And without the, constant external stimuli, I was able to think much more clearly and say, okay, you know what? I shouldn't be running from these things. It's great that I gave myself that comfort, but now that I've given myself that comfort of the peanut butter and honey sandwich and Squid Games and everything else, it's time to sit with these emotions instead of running away from them for any longer and see why they're here, what they're coming to teach us. And I decided to do a video on it because I want to document this for myself. And, if anybody else has gone through something similar or is going through something similar, then I would, like to share my experience in not in solidarity or not in hopes that anybody will gain from this, because that doesn't really matter to me in a good way. I mean, my validation is not, my self-worth or validation or whatever. I don't need that for me. If that does happen as a byproduct of me documenting this for myself and my journey, my own journey, then that's great. That's wonderful. I love that. But anyways, that I'm getting off on a tangent. But then I started to think of some other things. I was like, okay, well, it's not just the folklorico. Let's dig deeper here and see what's really the root of this, these feelings. And I started to think of all the other things that I wanted to do as a child that I couldn't. And one of them that I really, really, really wanted to do, I wanted to do this so bad when I was very, 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 very young. Like I literally think like a toddler or something. I think I was a toddler when I wanted to do this. When I first found out I wanted to do this was ballet. And then after that was figure skating, because I just loved it. It was such beautiful art forms, and the way that the movements and the grace and the just everything about it. And of course the costumes and figure skating and the costumes of ballet and things like that. I just thought they were so beautiful, and I really wanted to partake in that art form. But of course, given my upbringing, I wasn't allowed to. And I remember I used to do shit like pirouettes around the house as a toddler and stuff like that, and spin and dance and do, swan leaps or whatever the hell. I don't even know anything about ballet still, but yeah, I remember that, and I remember I used to feel so good doing that. I had so much fun and got so much enjoyment doing that until I got caught doing it. And this was one of the first, not one of the first, but one of many in the earlier parts of my life, times where I was taught that, hey, these things that you're doing, these things that you're feeling are not right, and you are not to do that again. You're not to experience that or go, think about that any further. I got caught by my mom when I was doing ballet, what I thought was ballet, girl. What I thought was ballet in the house, around the house, through the hallways and stuff. And she told me never to do that again. That was not something that boys did, and God doesn't make mistakes, that don't ever do that again. And I'm not that way, and, stuff like that. I'm not a girl, so I couldn't be interested in that. And I just remember not understanding why. It was just a beautiful art form, and I didn't think of it as a guy thing either. Back then, I didn't know that males could do ballet too. But I just remember not understanding why. Not understanding why at all, that I couldn't do that, because it was so enjoyable to me and such a beautiful art form that I really appreciated in every way, and I just wanted to experience that. I wanted to partake in that too, but I wasn't allowed. And then after that, I, after enough spanking or whatever, when I would do that, or after enough shaming and emotional abuse, I finally stopped. And then it went so undercover, those that want to do ballet and figure skating, that went so undercover that even I forgot that for a very long time. Then I remembered that I wanted to do figure skating when I was, I wanted to do figure skating as a kid, but I remembered for the first time that I wanted to do that as a kid in high school. In 10th grade, in 10th grade, I started to get into watching anime. And I watched, one of the very first ones that I watched was Yuri on Ice. And of course, Yuri on Ice, it's a BL figure skating, ice skating anime. And the animation of all of the, routines, the axles and this and that, and all of the terminology and everything, and the costumes and the music and the ferocity of the, the personalities and everything like that. It all came back to me that I had really, really, really appreciated and enjoyed that art form as a very young kid. and that I never got to do that. And that at that time, when I was in 10th grade, that I still wanted to do that I would very much like to partake in figure skating and ice skating. And back then, my father was still alive, and so I was in a very, very, homophobic, alt-right, super conservative Christian household, and I still somewhat am in that situation, but it was much, much, much more controlling and much, much more hostile then. And so it was like that second time it hurt even more, because I had the realization that, wow, I buried this so deep within me that even I forgot it. And then now that I remember it, I still can't do it. There's no way for me to enjoy this, no way for me to partake other than to watch Judy on Ice 1,000,000,001 times, which I did because I loved it so much. And yeah, so that was my only escape. That was the only way I could do that. And so now, after having, sit with these emotions and going back to those times in my life and reviewing them and in the here and now and in my, current life, which has changed drastically from my childhood in terms of liberation and things like that, allowing myself to be who I always have been. And then somewhat of a more lax situation than what I grew up in, even though I am still in that environment. That is also a factor as well, that the environment I grew up in, while I still live in that environment, it has become somewhat lax over the years, somewhat more lenient over the years. But yeah, just remember that your emotions are teachers, and you never are an emotion. You are just feeling them, you're experiencing them, and they're here to teach you something, whether it be good emotions or quote unquote good emotions, quote unquote bad emotions, because there are no good and bad emotions. Everything just is. They are what they are, and that's it. That's the end of it. There's nothing, there's no, okay, happiness is good and sadness is bad. No, they just are what they are. They're emotions. And you have to sit with them. It's okay to give yourself that initial comfort, especially if the feelings are very, very strong, the emotions are very strong. It's okay to give yourself the initial comfort. But once you have reached a stage where you can comfortably sit with those emotions and see what it is that they're teaching you, then do so. Then you must do that. You must say, okay, what is this teacher here to show me? Is it something that I need to review that I have done in the past, or that I haven't done in the past, as it was in my case? Or is it something that I am doing now that is going to hurt my future? Or is it something that I'm doing now that is a result of my past? All kinds of stuff like that will come up when you really truly sit with your emotions and see them as the teachers that they are. They will reveal those lessons to you if you allow yourself to sit with those emotions and don't get fully enraptured in the emotions. You're not the emotions. You're not those feelings. It's like standing at the edge of a cliff. You see the canyon, the cavern, or the canyon beneath you, and you're at the very edge of the cliff, to where if you would move one more inch, you would surely fall down to the bottom of the canyon. But it's all up to you. You have to move that extra inch to fall forward. down into the canyon, to fall down into the canyon. And you have that power to say, no, I'm not going to step that extra inch forward. I'm going to stay right here, and I'm going to look into the canyon, as much as I want, but I am not going to allow myself to take that extra inch forward, that extra inch step forward, and fall into it. I'm going to stand right here firm and not allow anything to shake me, and not take that extra inch forward and allow myself to throw myself into these emotions and allow myself to go, floating away with the emotions. You can stand your ground and still experience the whole of the wholeness, the entirety of the canyon and its depth and everything like that, its immensity, without plummeting, without jumping off the cliff. You can do all of that from the very edge of the cliff. The very edge of the cliff. You can stand on the very edge of the cliff, but it's still up to you to take that extra step to go down. And that is what it's like when you, that's the choice you have when strong emotions arise. Any emotions, but strong emotions especially. When those teachers arise, you can jump off that cliff and just go plummeting, go down, down, down. Or you can stand there and say, yes, I see the potential for great suffering here if I were to jump, but I'm not going to fucking jump. I'm going to stand right here, and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to take in this experience. I'm going to take in this experience. I'm going to take in the sights, the sounds, the smells, the whatever, the depth of the canyon, the immensity between, one cliff and the other cliff. And I'm going to appreciate it, and I'm going to take whatever lessons that this situation has given me. And for some people, they may need to speak about it, just talk about it out loud to yourself in an empty room or whatever, or make a video about it like I'm doing now. Because when I started this video, I was really, 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 really going through it. I was like, just when I started this video right now, I was really, really, really feeling sad. And now just talking about that with myself, having, while recording, to document this for when I forget and need to relearn this lesson. If I do, I'm human, so in the future I will need to come back to this lesson. Just because you need to review something doesn't mean that you're stupid, doesn't mean that you never got it in the first place, doesn't mean this, that, or the other. No, it's good that you're reviewing something, because that means that you want to learn that. It means that you truly are focusing on learning that and carrying that knowledge with you, that learned experience with you into your future. So, sometimes you might need to write it out, write some stuff down, or journal it out, or do some kind of art that's representative of it, in any medium. Or you may need to, like I'm doing right now. I honestly did not think making a video of this, recording, my thought process, walking through these emotions and stuff, would help me as much as it did. But wow, it has really, really, really helped me. Like, I feel so much better just having talked about that, and speaking it out loud really helps me to organize my thoughts so much better and really process these things and really go back to those points in space and time and stuff like that, to really, sit with these emotions and things like that. It helps me so much more to speak that out loud instead of just staying stuck in my head. And so, that's it. I'm finna hop back on Squid Game, watch it, and yeah, that's it. Sometimes that's all you need. You just need to get it out. You just need to get it out, because if not, it'll make you sick. So yeah, that's it.